Alright, so I'm here for my weekly update on my collection of ideas project, and for week 2 I was able to do more assignments because I had less things going on and outside of school. So this week I actually I not only updated my dialectical journal for The Jungle by Upton Sinclair, but I also read an article which turned out to be an essay from a professor from Dartmouth College, and then I also read 2 poems. And now reading these 2 poems, I found poems that actually had 2 different viewpoints on capitalism, and I was able to see how the negative and the positive work together, and this kind of tied back to the essay from Dartmouth College. That essay, whenever I was looking for it, I honestly was looking for an article just about capitalism in literature. But then I noticed that on the Dartmouth College website, they had a professor, an English professor, that taught capitalism in literature and using it as a critique. And I was really blessed to find his website. He had an essay posted on there written by himself. He's Professor Gomez, this is his last name actually. And he talked about the multiple ways that capitalism plays into literature. And the one thing that was really interesting to me was he talked about the negative versus the positive perceptions of it. And this correlated directly back to my poems, which was the one poem really focused on, how capitalism is ultimately, it's not very good. It ultimately hurts the characters, and how it's seen negatively, and how the company always acts as the antagonist, and the protagonist is always that hard worker. Whereas in another poem by Marge Piercy, she talks about how capitalism is good, and the Professor Gomez really tied that back in, saying that one of the common perceptions of capitalism is honestly the fact that it's that never-ending progression towards more prosperity. Whenever I think of capitalism, that's immediately what I think, and I share the idea that capitalism is undeniably good. But I'm noticing that as authors write stories, they use capitalism as an area of conflict, or they write it with a negative connotation, and thus playing into the mood and to the tone that they establish towards capitalism. And this all really gave me a different light on what I could research for the next week. So this related back to my book in a lot of ways, because Upton Sinclair really focuses on the negatives of capitalism. So I was able to look at that, and I'm definitely going to look into the positives versus the negatives of capitalism in the coming week.